arbitrage. I'm about to stand up in just a minute. It's just that I need to tie my shoelace and stuff. Today is Juneteenth. Yesterday was Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to everybody that was out there.
Yes, indeed. Want to say that. Happy Father's Day out there to the OGs. And happy Juneteenth as we celebrate what we maybe call the day we received our freedom. And we're going to talk about that and how it interacts with wealth building. So when we received our freedom, let's talk about it.
Oh, so I don't know how many of you guys know the story about Juneteenth. I do know that I went to school up north, right? So I'm from New York, and they never taught us about Juneteenth, right? They never talked about it. They didn't teach us about it. And what ended up happening was when the slaves got their emancipation, they didn't even hear about it till how long later?
Oh man, that's a good question.
It was a good while later. They had no idea. So finally, when they did hear about it, the Union soldiers was going to the different plantations. Thank you, baby. They were going to the different plantations, to the different estates. In Spanish, it would be the haciendas.
Yeah.
And they were notifying like, hey, these people are free, you gotta let them go. Now, there's a whole backside story to that about how some of them was hiding under the porch and stuff because they didn't want to be free. That's not what notice of their emancipation. And when they finally learned about it, they decided to call it Juneteenth, right? It sounds black, don't it, right? Don't have no date or nothing. It's just Juneteenth.
Yeah.
So the show kind of resonated with us because freedom comes in increments, right? In 2023, we have this idea as Black people that we're free. No, you're not.
Right.
We're not free. We just ended up getting freedom in increments. Go ahead, baby.
No, I'm saying yes, indeed. And we've talked about this before on earlier shows about our great scholar, Neely Fuller Jr. will tell you about the, he said 9 areas of activity that are dominated by white supremacy. So as you remove yourself from these areas of activity one at a time, that's why incremental freedom. You get out of 1, you get out of 2, you get out of 3, right? And so it's a long journey.
It's a long journey, and a lot of times it's generational.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Right? So my parents were born in colonial Guyana. I don't look that old. I feel it, but I don't look it. And we're talking, my dad was born in the 30s and my mom was born in the 40s. And when they lived in Guyana, it was under British rule. It was colonized. It wasn't that long ago, right? So,
and tell them, you gotta tell them, you know, because we talk about building wealth, tell them about your grandfather working in Venezuela, not your grandfather, I'm sorry.
My great-grandfather.
Great-grandfather working in Venezuela, being paid in gold.
Yes.
Real money.
So, benefits of colonization is that the parent countries are very rich because they're raping the countries that they colonize. But my great-grandfather, this is my grandmother's father.
Yes.
He worked in Venezuela. I can't remember what he did, but whatever it was, I believe it was probably agricultural. And they paid him in gold. And he used to bring little sacks, little satchels. We actually have some that are silver comes in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, we got some joints up there.
And it used to come in a satchel just like that. And he would, I believe he would leave my great-grandmother 18 ounces of gold. There would be gold ounces, 18 ounces of gold every time he got paid. I think he got paid monthly, if I can remember what my grandmother told me. And my great-grandmother was mad at him, so she used to take satchels and throw them in the corner. And I remember my grandmother said one day, she went to that, she's grown. She went to the house, because he had a whole family there. It's a lot of Black drama. She said she counted the satchels just sitting on the ground in the corner, right? Because my great-grandmother was mad at him, telling y'all all my business. And she counted, I think she said 22 satchels.
Man,
So 22 satchels,
Who
with
cashed them up?
18 ounces of gold.
who cashed them in?
Sure, after a while, but she was my great grandmother, they were scholars, right? Which is where some of my personality comes from. So my grandmother, my great grandmother, even my great grandfather, they were scholars. They were real heavy in the school.
Yeah.
They were what you call schoolmasters, which would be equivalent to principals and administrators. So she made a decent living because she taught in a private school.
Right.
So they made just a decent living. Now they got paid in the British pound and stuff like that. But because my uncle worked in Venezuela, he was getting paid in gold ounces. And I wish that those gold ounces passed down to his beautiful great granddaughter so that I could give it to his great grandbaby. But
and the thing is, man, I'm gonna go in on that real quick because you mentioned that he was getting paid in gold, which is real money. And your great grandmother was getting paid in the British sterling
pound, yes, sir.
Right?
Yep.
When it came into inception, it was supposed to be worth 12 troy ounces of silver. It has lost 99% of its value since its inception. Okay, so she was, if they were trying to save, she was trying to save sterling pounds. He would have been saving gold. You see how the spending power, it kept its spending power. Remember, we always talk about gold. 1 ounce of gold to buy a man a fine suit.
Yeah,
so gold's about what, $2,000?
Yes, now.
So
if I'd have had those coins now,
well, I'm saying,
in the corner.
that's a fine suit. $2,000 to get you a fine
But 18
tailored suit.
18 ounces of gold every month was still a lot for a Caribbean country.
Well, that means
he made a lot of money.
That means he was a high earner.
Yes, he was.
He probably was a high value man, if you will. Salute. So yeah, we're just talking about stacking up. We still, some of this stuff is repetitive and but it has to be told, right? We're talking about you got a dollar cost average, you gotta have some physical assets, you gotta have some digital assets, and we always want to talk about having your paperwork in order so that you can move it from, if I'm building wealth for my family, I have to have the paperwork in order so that they can receive the wealth in case of my demise, right? So that, and people don't like to look at it like that because it's kind of morbid and stuff like that. But you know the game, you know where it's going. You already know how it's going to end. So you got to have the paperwork in order because you mess around. We're in a different country, so we have different things. You mess around in probate court. Finding all that stuff. Yeah, it becomes.
But we still own a home in Florida and stuff like that. So our paperwork absolutely has to be in order. My father passed away, it's gonna be June 25th, 2 years ago. And I'm still working to get some things in order for his estate because at the time when I was helping him and my mom with it, I was just too young to know what questions to ask in order to have in order so that I could take care of her because typically the husband unfortunately passes away before the wife. So I'm still like doing some research and recon and calling and double checking and
that's why you
getting an attorney to look into some stuff so that she can get the things that she deserves.
Yeah, that she just deserves it. Like you said, the husband passes away on average 7 years before the wife. So as a husband, if you have a wife and children, you have to be prepared to have everything set up because it's most likely you will pass away before you.
But especially men, even if that's not your wife, if you have a child with a partner, right, have those things in order for your children. It's really the children, right? Like I'm taking care of my mom, we're grown, we take care of ourselves. There's 3 of us, we're adults, we take care of ourselves. And I'm helping to take care of her and stuff, but as men, and it is Father's Day weekend, right? You should have your stuff in order for your children if you share a child with a partner. And it's not about her anymore. It's about the legacies that you left. So if you have to put stuff in a trust for them, because the dynamics is very different, right? Especially if you're sharing a child with a woman, you actually have a new partner or you have a new wife, the dynamics are very, very different. And you want your wealth to go to the right places, to the right people,
Yes.
at the right time. So we're always talking about getting your paperwork in order.
Yeah.
My parents are older and we're looking at stock certificates that my dad probably had from like the 70s. So
Yeah.
that's a headache I had this morning, y'all.
Yeah.
But like for us, we make sure we have everything in order.
That's why I am big on precious metals, because that's physical. That's right here. So you got a duffel bag of gold, silver, if something happened to me, got it, you know where
and
to go
it's
get
easily
it.
transferable,
And
right?
you can go liquidate what
Right
you
now.
need, and then we'll have some in the depository, because over time you can't just have that much gold and silver as it becomes what do you call it?
Burdensome.
Burdensome. It's a lot. So, but there's still a duffel bag or two that you can go grab, do what you need to do, keep your digital assets, and you let people know what, you gotta know the keys, you gotta leave them the keys. We did a show a long time ago about having your children know the keys, right? They gotta know the keys, they gotta know where to get the Bitcoin, that's just what we're doing as far as building wealth generation.
And we're gonna get back to the freedom thing because this is important. I do want to run it by y'all, but every year during open enrollment, I leave Sean and now Reginald, right? Because Reginald's 15, he looks like he's 22. And now Reginald, I leave them a very detailed email of everything that I did during open enrollment, all of the beneficiary stuff, where stuff is gonna be dispersed to, how much it is, so on and so forth. The paperwork that I signed, I send as attachments. That way, because Simon and I make the joke that we're Siamese twins, right? We're literally attached at the hip. So if God forbid something happened, there's a likelihood that it could happen to us at the same time. Not to say like heart attack or stroke or anything like that, but it could be it could be anything. So we make sure that we leave them very detailed. What's wrong?
No, I'm sorry.
The clip lights?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
They're out. They need to be charged. Sorry. But we make sure we leave them detailed information about them as beneficiaries, how much it is. Sean is the oldest, so he's got to take care of his brothers and so on and so forth. I have his banking information so that if something happens to me, or if something happens to us, right? The beneficiary stuff goes right to his bank account. You don't have to fight with our bank account. But he also has access to our checking account, right? He knows the password to get in. And again, you have to raise your children in order to be able to trust them with these things. And you have to be honest with yourselves about parents, about who your children are. Like, let's be honest about that. If you feel like I just can't give my child, he takes opportunities when he's not supposed to. I can't give my child the banking information because he'll go in there and she'll go in there and she'll do crazy stuff. Then you got to be honest with yourself about that.
You got to be honest about who your children are. That's right. That's dead right.
But in the same breath, you want to raise them. Sean understands that he has co-parent status. That's just what it is, right? I've had a lot of parents criticize the way we raise our children, but the truth of the matter is we have a hierarchy. It's like the military here in this house. Sean has co-parent status. If something happens to us, he's now their father. And that's the end of that. That's just what it is. That was what he was born into. And we taught them since they were infants, you are your brother's keeper, right? You are going to take care of your brothers until you are not here anymore. Don't matter, right? He got a wife, you got a wife, he got a wife, he got a wife. Your children are siblings, they're not cousins.
Yep.
Right? It's at the point where this is how we raise them so that the wealth is distributed in a way where there's not a lot of infighting. We left enough wealth for y'all to share amongst each other. There shouldn't be any fighting. I don't want anybody not talking to each other if we passed away and all of the stupid stuff that come about when people die and there's money to be.
There's money to be wealth and money to be distributed.
Right.
Right. So I'm gonna talk to my OGs out there, the old school cats who might be listening, what she was just saying. if you guys are familiar with the movie The Godfather, right? He was the godfather, and he had an oldest son, Fredo. He bypassed him because he knew who his son was, and he gave, he gave what do you call it? He gave
Like carte blanche, or
not carte blanche. He just gave he passed him over,
Sonny?
and he passed him over to Sonny, right? Santino, who was the middle child. He gave him, something he could do, and then Sonny was a hothead.
No, so you like them, but yeah.
We love Sonny. I all know about the Godfather, Sonny. And they tried to keep Mike, who was the youngest one, Al Pacino, they tried to keep him out the game. He went to the military, he was a military officer, they tried to keep him out the game. But because of the way it played out, eventually he had to be in charge. So he had to step up. But,
Know from the beginning who your children are.
Yeah, long story long, know who your children are. And Godfather knew. He knew to bypass his eldest son and give it to his middle son because he knew who his children were.
Right.
And
Sonny was a hothead.
He was a hothead.
But he could trust him with things. That's really what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right? Sean, for us, is very much like his father. So it's easy when the backup QB has the same techniques and stuff, like the actual QB and best in the league. It's an easy transference, right?
Yeah.
Other families and dynamic situations, it's not so easy. Sometimes, unfortunately, children grow up with drug problems. And, they like to take opportunities because, unfortunately, that's just who they are. And sometimes it doesn't matter how well you raise them. Sometimes the character of who they are is just who they are.
Yeah.
And there's really not much you can do about that. So when we tell you these things, take a lot of what we say with a grain of salt and really try to work it in a way that it works for you. We're just telling you things that we've tested, tried, and has been extremely successful.
Yeah.
For us, experiences that we've had, like I said, my father passed away 2 years ago, and I'm still trying to get his estate together for my mother. Because when I took it over 10 years ago, 10 years ago, I was 32. I was just too young to ask that. My father was a high income earner.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of benefits and stuff that he had access to that at 32, I didn't know about, I didn't have access to. I wasn't a high income earner then, so I didn't know to ask the questions. And now I'm asking the questions because I'm in his role and stuff like that in his industry.
Yeah.
And I just damn, I wish I would have asked all of these questions.
And see, the thing is, they'll give you this advice. You're supposed to diversify your portfolio.
Yeah.
You are supposed to diversify your portfolio, and this is true. But there is a benefit of having a very singular portfolio, if you will.
Gotcha.
Right? So
a lot less questions to ask.
Yep. So you can find everything because everything was here.
Right.
It was all Bitcoin, it was all gold, it was all this, it was all that. That's bad advice. We are not
we're not financial advisors, it's not financial
advice. They'll ask you, stuff like that. But diversifying your life portfolio is, in our opinion, more beneficial.
Yes.
Right? So that you can have things in certain places. And if you need to go hit something here, but you need to know.
And here's the thing.
If I got a whole bunch of gold, you need to know where to go get.
And here's the thing, right? And this is what people don't like to do. I have a very type A personality. Yeah, we had a bird in the house earlier today. I have a very type A personality, so I'm very meticulous when it comes to bookkeeping because we do run businesses. We have to. And because this is my business partner, everything has to be transparent. So when he needs information, he can just touch it. He don't even have to ask me really. He can just look. And it's also a way to, we're husband and wife. So we're honest with each other, but what if, right? It was a situation where, you got your Bitcoin hidden here and I got silver hidden here.
Yep.
We want everything transparent. So, and not just him, if Sean needed to touch something, he needs to be able to look at it. He has everything there. we have a lot of friends, right? And people that we talk to who have a shit ton of altcoins, right? You've got, $1,600 in XRP. You got, $1,400 in Solana. You got this in Cardano. You got that. And while you have your ledgers, your keys, everything is everywhere.
Yeah.
And no one could just tie into one place. You got Dogecoin on the Nano Ledger. You got your Solana on this wallet on your phone, and that wallet on your phone. And there's another Nano Ledger that I had last year. I think I lost it. It's in my dresser somewhere.
Yeah.
You want to have an itemized listing of what you have, and you need to update that every calendar year. In the military, we used to deal in what was called fiscal years, right? So the federal government deals in fiscal years.
Yes.
I think their fiscal year ends, if I can remember correctly, in October, right?
In October.
We do it, it's just easier for me to do a calendar year because that's around the time where I do our personal taxes and our business taxes. We have to do every quarter. So just understand what I'm saying. It's meticulous, it's tedious, it's boring. I tell you guys all the time, if you guys have sole props and LLCs, you gotta do the bookkeeping and write off all of the things that Donald Trump worked so hard to help you write off. Like, write it off. Whether you like him as a president or not, he worked hard to give you a benefit that benefits you and your business, right? But you gotta do the work. And the time that you put in on the front end is money that is either saved or earned on the back end, right? No matter how you twist it, turn it, run it down, you gotta earn the money by putting in the time.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you guys, if you're single, you should do it for yourself, right? Because when you pass away, you can't take any of that with you. So if it's gotta get left to somebody, have all of that information there to make it less of a headache for you, right? And if you're a parent, I don't care if you're married or not married, if you have children, whether they're grown or minors, take the time out to itemize the things that you have. Even our silver's itemized. I keep every single receipt. When we get that physical silver, it comes with a thing. It says, 1 piece of Egyptian,
Yeah.
This is how much you purchased it for. Yes, we do have the dashboard that says this is what you purchased it for, and this is what it's worth today, and so on and so forth. But glitches happen, things go down. Technology isn't absolute as much as we'd like to lean and rely on it. You still want to kind of do shit just a little bit old school way.
Yeah.
Right? There's another reason why when I do the open enrollment email for Reginald and Junior, sometimes HR is like, we can't find this, or give us a few days to locate that. Things get lost, new people or new positions, they're not good at their jobs yet, they haven't been properly trained. Whatever the scenario is, you gotta have your paperwork in order, and a lot of times that requires you to do the hard work on the front end to have, like I said, some type of inventory, some type of itemized something, right? I have 4 nano ledgers. This is what's on the nano ledgers.
Yeah.
This is the value of it as of June 2023. Okay,
Yeah.
I have stock certificates from 1977. It is in the filing cabinet, in the garage, in the 3rd drawer, in a manila envelope, labeled that, right? We gotta do things the right way. And so much money goes back to the state and to the government because people are a lot of times too lazy.
They're very lazy.
To have the stuff in order.
Yeah, no doubt about that. We used to go through, and I'm just gonna go through an old story. This back when we were in Cincinnati, Ohio. There was a book that you could go through and see.
Oh, that's left.
All the state and the government owes
This
this person money, owe this person money, owe this person money. You could just look through and see all the money that was owed to people because, like she said, poor bookkeeping.
Poor bookkeeping.
And this is
It's always poor.
Yeah, this is cool for Bitcoin and stuff. So poor bookkeeping. So taxes that were owed to you, state taxes, government. I'm sorry, what do you call them taxes?
State taxes, the taxes for the house, property taxes.
Yeah, property taxes.
Liens on the house, stuff
All
like
the stuff
that.
that's owed back to you, it's a couple $1,000, $2,000. I would go through the book That's I'm looking at somebody owed me something. Like I go to the book and I see the numbers and dang, people out here, $40,000 is owed to somebody, and it's just sitting there.
And while the government cannot touch that money, the interest is theirs.
Yeah.
The interest that's being held in those accounts, that's theirs.
Yeah.
So it's free money that the government has figured out a way to tap into. We always want to tell you guys, don't leave any wealth on the table because it's taken us so long in order to earn the wealth, in order to maintain the wealth, in order to protect the wealth. And I want to get back to the freedom theme, right? Name of the show today is Let Freedom Ring. I do want to shout out, Let Freedom Ring is actually one of our subscribers. So I want to shout you out. When we were doing the show today, your name came to mind. I said, oh, Let Freedom Ring. And hopefully you enjoyed that. It's a shout out to you as well. Thank you so much for being a great subscriber and for leaving the comments that you leave. We appreciate you. But freedom comes in increments. We talked about the areas of activity. We are not free yet. And the fact that we live in, and a lot of people think we live in a democracy. If you did your homework like I asked you to do on looking at the fall of the Roman Empire, I want y'all to get back into your school bag, right? We live in an oligarchy, okay? You're not free. You are actually slaves of the state. And when I say the state, it's both federal government and whatever state you live in, right? You are still slaves to that because you're trading your economic time. And while some of you make a lot of great money, right? You're still trading your economic time in for fiat currency, right?
Right. So we always talk about the biggest asset is time.
Yes.
So if you're trading your time for whatever amount of pay you get hourly, salary, trading your time, because when you don't have any more time, that's that, so you make sure that you use your time wisely, use it efficiently, use it in your best resources as far as, so make sure you use your time in the best way possible is something that we always talk about.
And on Juneteenth, right? This is a day where a lot of you guys are gonna barbecue, you're gonna get with family and friends, you're gonna enjoy your time, and we want you to do that. But we also want you marinating on your economic plan. Understand that right now we're in the middle of what I call a demo. And for those of you who don't know what that is, a demo is when it's a demolition. It is when you are watching a building, typically some type of skyscraper, implode, come down, and then they make plans to break new ground and build something new there, right? They're raising the building. We are in the process of watching an economic demolition.
And for the homies out there, the OGs, the 5%ers, either you build or you destroy.
Yeah.
Right? So if you destroy something, boom, clean it up, then you build something.
And you rebuild, right? So it's not a horrible thing.
Yeah.
And for those of while this may be scary and volatile, it is what's the word I want to look for? It's cyclical. That's the word I was looking for. It's cyclical. It's time now. America has been on top for a very long time, a lot longer. The arc is a lot longer than its typical arc. So I want to make that clear. This is why we keep sending you guys back to social studies 101, right? Really take the time out. For some of y'all, it's a Wikipedia search. For the ones who have personalities more similar to ours, you want to get into your bag, go on Amazon, get that Kindle Unlimited, right? For $10 a month, you can read as many books as your heart can possibly read. Yeah. And just look at the pattern of the fall of Rome. You want to understand how they went through the hyperinflation, what they did to their money, the wars that they were in, how many, what would you call it? How many places that they colonized is the word I'm gonna say, right? When you read the story of Jesus Christ, he was talking about give unto Caesar what is Caesar, give unto God what is God. I was like, well, what's Caesar doing where you at, God? Yeah. Right? Like, y'all in the Mesopotamic area, what is Rome doing over there? They colonized everything. It was similar to like the British Empire. Anywhere the sun shines or sets, Rome owned, ran, had some type of dealing with or made some type of profit off.
Yes, indeed.
So the United States did the same thing. Just last week, or maybe the week before last, Yellen finally acknowledged, she called it a slow dollar decline.
Oh boy.
It's bigger than that, it's a de-dollarization, right? Because they're trying to find ways to propagandize it, that's the word. They're trying a way to give you that propaganda so that the people don't panic. Because remember, your fiat currency right now, the only thing that's holding it up is public trust.
Public trust, we had some people reached out to us, and I understand the
And with the oil,
yes.
But they're not gonna use
It's
the
an oil
anymore.
dollar, and military is backing the dollar.
The militarization of the dollar. Right now, they're finding a way to not have to use any of the resources that we're willing to offer. That's what I want y'all to look into, right? Whether you guys think we're right or wrong, do your own research. For those of y'all who watched Players Club in 1998, Dina said, what's her name, Dina? Diamond, whatever her name is, Lisa Ray's character.
That was Diamond.
It was Diamond, right?
Yeah.
Lisa Ray's character, that was the theme of the show, was do your own research. Remember, she was going to school to be a journalist?
Like we say.
And her teacher showed up at the strip club, you remember that?
Yeah, like
She's embarrassed.
Do your own diligence.
Do your own research. And understand what we're saying. And in doing your own research, come up with your own economic plan. Ask questions. Ask a lot of questions.
Yes, indeed.
Right? If you want to reach out, we tell people all the time, reach out to us. There's a lot of you guys who really take that opportunity to ask us 1,000 questions, and we answer the best we can based on, like we said, our research, our experience, what worked for our large family. So understand that when we come to y'all in wisdom and in truth.
Yeah, come in wisdom. And like I said, if you reach out to us, we give you the best answer we can. If it's more complicated, we will reference you to somebody else who can give you that answer.
That subject matter expert who will do a lot better with the wisdom than we will. But
so we will always do that.
We have a large family and we were a young married couple. I mean, I almost feel like, we got married. I was 21 years old when I got married to him. And we had a little baby, and then another baby, and then another baby, and the last baby was supposed to be twins. So we have a large family that not only do we support and take care of, we provide a very, I'm gonna call it an extravagant lifestyle for them, because we work hard to get their mindset from young that you are wealthy. And that you're gonna walk into wealth, you're gonna take that wealth into your new family, right? It's going to be part of our grandchildren's collective consciousness. It's very important. It is so important because wealth starts with the mindset before it even runs through your fingers, before you even run through your hands.
Exactly.
So this is the freedom that we're talking about, right? When your paperwork is right, your beneficiaries are a bit freer, right? It's a lot less stress. They're already grieving, you're passing. Make their life a little bit easier. Wives, be on top of which the husband does. If your husband's the type of husband that run the household, ask him, say, sit down with me and show me how you run our household.
Got that.
Women, if you run the household by yourself, you sit with whoever your child is that you can sit down with and trust with your financial information and stuff like that. Because you don't want your children running off at the mouth with their friends, right? That's dangerous too, right? Because you never know who's listening. Like, that's why I say, Sean, just like you. I tell Sean something, he go right in the boat. Right? I don't have to worry about Sean telling his best friend this and telling his other friend that. And finally somebody's like, oh, we're going to tap in and see what they got going on. No. You have to be able to raise your children in a way where they understand house business is house business. And I'm not talking about being abused. Okay, we're talking about the financial stuff. House business is house business, only the house.
And I want a hard pivot on you. We still got to do the flag theory. You want to have things set up in certain places that if you need to go there, we talk. I don't know the demographics of people, but if children grown, you might want to have a situation over here in a spot, a low-key spot where you can go stay and, you know, and do your thing, and especially at this time with a lot of work-at-home jobs, right? You can slide off and go do something somewhere. You don't have to be stuck, because far too often I see stuff and these people that live in Chicago, St. Louis, Cincinnati, Cleveland, I could name a whole bunch of cities, Memphis, and it's trouble. What would you call it?
Them squares.
Squares, I mean, it's just.
When we say the square,
hectic.
we're talking about the
Hectic.
geographical area where Black men are trapped, right? There's a lot of murder and mayhem.
We call them Gregors.
They're Gregors, but we call it the square, like in Chicago, the south side of Chicago, where all those people, all those young Black men are getting killed. We call it a square. It's a geographical prism that is trapping that Black man energy, and they're just killing each other and being killed and being brutalized. It's a hot mess. Okay. So, you know, we just wanted to talk about incremental freedom as we enjoy Juneteenth, this Father's Day weekend. We want the fathers, get your paperwork in order for your sons, for your daughters, nieces, nephews, godchildren, whoever you have that you're obligated to. I know last week I wasn't really feeling great during the show. Sometimes I ain't feeling great, y'all. We do a lot. And, you know, my husband gave his word that he was going to do this show every Monday, and it's supposed to be our family community service.
Yes, sir.
So, you know, if y'all see I ain't feeling good, just pray for me, right? You don't gotta criticize me. Give me y'all the best energy I can. Give you guys what I can. We promise that we're gonna do it, and we're gonna try our best to get it done. I'm gonna try to, you know, keep myself up, drink my water, get my stuff done, because y'all know I don't be feeling that great sometimes. So I'm sorry that my energy wasn't what it was supposed to be for the last show. I'm doing the best I can. And y'all gotta understand, we're giving y'all from the overflow. Okay, we're on somebody else's channel. This is not revenue, this is not content creation. This is us giving wisdom and like, hey, we did this worked for us. And I think other Black people can benefit from some of the stuff that we've done, that we've enjoyed, that has worked, that has been successful. I gained some of the way back too, so y'all see I'm trying to hide it. I lost it, and then I gained some of it back because I had to in order to get my health back up. But
yeah, man, that's that beer.
Drinking water. But we love y'all, and we want you to do your homework. Go find whatever resource you need to. Start looking at the pattern of the fall of Rome, so you can come up with your economic, like, okay, this is what I'm expecting. This is probably what's going to happen next. And a lot of times, it's exactly what's going to happen next, right? Everything's cyclical. Come up with your economic plan towards more economic freedom. Protect your time, protect your energy, protect your family, protect your wealth. We love y'all. We'll see y'all next week.